It starts as a rumor in budget meetings, before echoing as the grind of Machiavelli beneath pavement. Germany is actively rebuilding its subterranean fortresses for the first time since the Iron Curtain finally collapsed. To a casual onlooker, this construction feels strange, as mentioning bunkers summons black and white 70-seconds memories. We picture damp concrete, steel hatches, and scared school children hiding under desks from a past era. Modern German leadership discusses this with cold, mathematical precision, seeing a new age defined by pure geography. Europe is physically adjacent to volatile war zones, escalating rivalries, and weaponry that has outpaced 20th-century defenses. The Interior Ministry is pouring billions into modernizing civil shelters before the year 2029 arrives. Many sites were welded shut years ago, disguised behind nondescript panels or lost under city parking garages. Massive mandate requires revitalizing structures, installing advanced air scrubbers, and securing the critical data lines. Now, engineers ensure there is enough reinforced volume to hold the population safely when the sirens finally wail. Officials point to the shifting baseline of European safety since tanks rolled into Ukraine, changing everything immediately. Berlin watches threats transition from theory to reality, with rockets skirting airspace and digital attacks on factories. Spies are confirming the growth of hostile arsenals, proving that the price of being wrong is high. Germany builds strategy on foresight, framing safety not as a privilege, but as a mutual government obligation. Households must keep 10 days of food, while cities drill comms teams and clinics update trauma protocols. Underneath the streets, an expanding web of steel-reinforced sanctuaries proves that readiness is now official doctrine. This rapid hardening poses a serious query for the US regarding what America should learn from urgency. Berlin's initiative is not about dusting off Cold War museums, but is a complete architectural rethink. Now, a modern catastrophe mixes server blackouts, grid collapses, electromagnetic pulses, and kinetic explosions in rhythm. This covers the time for fallout to settle, skies to clear, and first responders to understand battlefields. To achieve this, engineers prioritize 3 elements, which are endurance, self-sufficiency. Most shelters sit under thick concrete skins, designed to shrug off overpressure, falling ruins, and surface infernos. Ventilation units pull atmosphere through complex filters, stripping out particles, toxins, and irradiated debris from the air. Internal layouts can seal off specific zones if a breach occurs, taking tactics straight from submarine blueprints. New specs call for off-grid generators, water cisterns, dense medical kits, and food designed for years. Civilians stay underground for 48 hours, giving time for the state to map destruction and fires. Unlike the old strategy of months-long hibernation, and this approach values speed and the ability to resurface. Connectivity is the nervous system, meaning shelters carry satellite uplinks, hardened radios, and screens hardwired to command. Authorities can push clear guidance, even if the internet dies or cell towers melt down completely today. In a country of 84 million, information stops panic effectively, and stopping panic truly saves lives. These bunkers plug into a larger machine, where sirens scream during monthly tests and broadcasters have backup. Germany is essentially welding together a shield made of prepared citizens and capable agencies and armored basements. Now, the signal is clear. That expense of getting ready is cheaper than the cost of losing everything. While Berlin pours concrete, the United States has allowed its own shield to rust away, completely unnoticed. There was a time when civil defense meant something, and yellow signs marked safe zones in towns. Sirens wailed over rooftops, booklets landed on doorsteps, and the country viewed survival as a team sport. That era evaporated as America wields potent military power, yet offers almost zero physical protection for taxpayers. We have no national bunker system and no federal standard for shelters, and no unified alarm tying systems. Unlike European peers, Washington does not mandate families keep emergency stocks, shifting the burden entirely to you. Local managers handle natural events well, but FEMA does not manage bomb shelters or run national drills. We are left with a patchwork quilt, not a safety net, which is terrifying when mapping weaknesses. One precise hit on a transformer or a grid down event could paralyze millions at once instantly. What? Ambulances would be gridlocked instantly, ERs would collapse, and our aging power lines could stay dead weeks. Unlike the Germans, we have nowhere to go. So your best bet is a parking deck basement. These spots are not built to stop radiation, blast waves, or poison gas, as mindset creates problems. We feel safe because we are far away, thinking oceans are a moat, but history disagrees violently. Pearl Harbor and 9/11 proved that miles do not equal safety. Regarding ICBMs and computer viruses, real defense needs the White House, the governor and the mayor to work in sync, costing money. It requires admitting that we are reachable because for decades, we have kicked this can down roads. Meanwhile, Germany and its neighbors are marching the other way, toward drill stockpiles and concrete resilience plans. If we decided to get serious, we would not need to copy Europe perfectly, but find solutions. America's scale requires an American solution, which is the only way to ensure true safety remains possible. We need models working for Manhattan and Montana, linking local grit with federal reach and distinct private tech. A viable plan rests on 3 legs of alerting, sheltering, and healing, starting first with the alerts. We have phone buzzers, but they are glitchy, so a true system fuses everything under one switch. If you are in a subway or cabin or offline, you should get the warning instantly now. This web would hijack radios and smart speakers and billboards, sending real-time orders to the whole nation. One command cuts through noise, stopping the stampede and saving precious minutes, bringing us to the shelter. We do not need to dig new caverns under every house, but simply fortify what we have. Subway, storm cellars, and deep garages could be retrofitted with air filters, lead shielding, and water drums. Engineers can also deploy modular pods, dropped quickly into areas with flat terrain to create viable hubs. State by state, we map out a Tier 1 network of safe zones that every family knows. Germany reveals that efficient healthcare systems crumble in war, and so Washington must fund hospitals to build capacity. We need backup generators, analog comms, and regional drills that mimic mass casualty events to find cracks. Practice for earthquakes to find the cracks before pressure hits, creating a stance based on speed. This stance is based on toughness, not anxiety, accepting that readiness is not about guessing the future. It is about functioning when the future goes dark, leading us to ask, what if we refuse? Germany's project is not just cement, but a statement of values, believing civilian life is worth saving. European leaders view this as stewardship, and a long-term insurance policy that outlasts all elections today. For America, the price of doing nothing is quieter but heavier, especially in the first strike hours. Families would be isolated during cyber or kinetic attacks, and without shelters, millions hide in fragile rooms. Without a unified voice, rumors kill faster than weapons, and without surge plans, doctors would be overrun. Without a culture of readiness, simple things like water storage would be missing when it matters most. These gaps damage us before the first shot is fired, Because they rot our confidence in leadership. A population with no safety net scares easily, doubts its leaders and breaks under stress. In contrast, places like Finland and Germany show that civil defense builds social trust, while Americans see solo hobbies. We buy gear as individuals, but true resilience happens when the government and the citizens shake hands. If we refuse to evolve, we enter a volatile decade, naked compared to our prepared European allies. Readiness will remain a luxury for the few, while crisis looks less like response and more collapse. But the outlook is not hopeless. Because we have the best engineers, wild tech, and local knowledge force. The plans exist and money exists, so the only missing piece is the choice to look inward. We must learn from our friends and build a shield big enough for 300 million souls. Germany picked up the shovel and Europe followed suit. But American shifts depend on wisdom, not panic. Real preparation is not about expecting the end, but refusing to be helpless when history turns pages.